First order of business, we have a plaque to present to Dave Martell for last year's presidency. That will hold his gavel. This is Dave's gavel, so I present you your official gavel. Thanks so much for your service.
And in return, now I actually have the official gavel that says Stephen W. Sperling, TRCR President, 25-26. So, Steve, I'm officially passing the gavel.
All right, thanks so much, Dave. Okay, as you're making your way in, that's great. You can just Steve. This is a beta test here with ordering off the menus, so I'm not sure how this is all going to go with service and everything. It's going to be hoping the best. So I want to welcome everybody today, and in just a moment, get the slides up. Thank you. And you will have, there we go. One of the things that you already know is that we have a new Rotary president this year, Francisco Areza. And as I mentioned before, his theme for the year is United for Good. Maternal Health Child Month is July, Rotary theme. And so we will be focusing on that, and we'll be talking about that each month. And then next slide, United for Good. So then the, you can go to the next slide. So, because I was late getting here, I didn't hear if anybody signed up for, or we just, okay, Jared, thank you.
Great. Everybody will follow me with the 4-way test.
Second is the fair to all concerned. Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. And fifth, let's look on. Okay, while you remain standing, will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For a reflection today, we have a little personal experience, I guess, from Joseph, which we can open.
I would prefer not to share this reflection, but I have decided otherwise. As you know, I am the secretary of this club. On Monday, as usual, I was reading emails on the club's administrative email account. One of the emails contained an invoice from Geek Squad stating that they had withdrawn $488 from our account. I was surprised. At first, I wanted to contact Sherston, but then I thought it would take too long, and so I decided to be proactive and cancel the service. I called the phone number listed on the invoice. I learned that the 3 months free trial period had ended, but that we didn't have to continue, and the money would be refunded. The technical support person on the other end of the phone was very professional and eventually gave me the number for phone of the finance department. I was surprised that they wouldn't just refund the money to the club's account, but to my personal account, but I continued the call. Eventually, I ended the call. It was just minutes away from losing all the money in my savings account. My wife and I called our bank, where they blocked our account, and I also contacted Frank. As calm as I am, my blood was boiling. My professional pride was gone, and I, who knew so much about security, had been caught out. But then I realized that nowadays we don't hear about bank robberies in the news. But what happened to me happens to a lot of people on a large scale. It's just not talked about. The first mistake in the chain of mistakes I made was very easy to spot. The email didn't come from a professional domain, but from Gmail. I regularly delete such emails from my personal account, and yet I let myself be caught. The second mistake was more insidious. I know very well that you shouldn't click on links in email. I didn't click, I called. I called a phone number that was not legitimate. Be careful.
Yeah. Definitely. So with the new Rotary year, we start over again in a total for Happy Bucks, and so far the total is $30. And so with that in mind, did able,
I'll be happy.
do any of you have any happy thoughts that you would like to share?
It must be in storage. No, there's
Ben does.
over there. Okay. This isn't working. That's. Oh, no.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Gavel.
On June 26th, my wife gave birth to my son. So that's my happy dollar. So I got 3 kids, 3 under 3. So no more sleep. Yeah.
Excellent. Bill?
Yeah, $2 for having a great trip crossing the North Atlantic into Queen Mary. And the second one is for the New Year Rotary.
All right. I see dollars going up, but a lot more people here today, so we're tripping over myself. Dave?
So my happy buck is just sitting down for lunch. Steve.
There's Randy over here.
Yeah, I took our exchange student Luca to the airport on Saturday evening. She had been hours and hours and hours packing her 2 great big suitcases when we got there, and she was still 4 pounds overweight on one and 3 pounds overweight on the other. So her and I sat on the floor at the airport, pulling stuff out one at a time to get her weight down. And the last thing she pulled out was the Rotary 100th anniversary class, and that put her over the limit. So Rotary helped her from the day number 1 to the day she got home. She's home safely. So thank you for your support.
Excellent. Anybody else over on this side? All right, back over here.
I gave my happy change in order to say that we just had our second great grandson.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Oh,
All right.
great.
Ally?
Wow.
The motto, service of self, above self, certainly is appropriate for Randy Stocker, who put together a phenomenal Rochester Fest this year. And I think we're all very proud of how hard that worked. If only we'd had perfect weather. But you know, maybe somebody else can cover that issue.
Excellent. I know there were a couple dollars given. John collects with lunch. Any of those? Anybody? For me, my dollar is for my brother Leighton, George Leighton Allen Jr. this year, and his son, the third. And unfortunately, they didn't come today. I tried to get George Sr., my dad, to get here, but he's enjoying time with his son and grandchildren this afternoon. He's only here for a couple days. All right, anyone else? I'll pass the mic back.
$14 from John.
All right.
Want to recognize Rotary birthdays, and Dave's tradition was not saying happy birthday, but by presidential proclamation, I'm not going to do that. Good. So, but we have a new tradition. Again, by presidential proclamation, that anyone who attends a Rotary program on their birthday gets free lunch. So that's an incentive for all of those birthdays. But we wish these people a happy birthday. So happy birthday to everyone. This is for the entire month of June, but because we have a third Thursday program coming up, and we won't be able to highlight that. Anniversaries too. We'd like to recognize the anniversaries. Al, Delore, Frank, is George here? I didn't see him. No. But the Rickliffs are here, so happy anniversary to Karen and Marilyn Rickliffs on 30 years this year. That's hard to believe. So one of the things that I can do, it gives me great pleasure to be able to present a Paul Harris Fellow. And to do that, we have a special guest here today, and we have Lynn Clary, who will be introducing our guest. Thank you.
President. I want to first start, Harry Kerr is the one that's going to be receiving this award. And I first want to personally thank Harry for all he's done for our country and for our community. And with that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Harry. Harry is a decorated United States Marine Corps Vietnam veteran. He's a combat wounded Purple Heart recipient. Harry's also a decorated United States Army Desert Storm veteran. He's a retired commander, sergeant major for the Minnesota National Guard. Harry's a retired captain of the Olmsted County Deputies Sheriff's Department. And he's served in numerous capacities as patrol of the detention center commander and also in charge of the Southeastern Minnesota Drug Task Force. Harry taught law enforcement officer program out at RCTC for over 25 years. Harry is also a charter member of the Soldiers Field Veterans Memorial. He's a charter member of the Prisoner of War Missing in Action Writers Association. Harry is also a charter member of the Southeastern Minnesota Honor Flight. Instrumental, by the way, in successfully running 10 honor flights with over 1,000 World War II veterans to go to Washington, D.C. Harry is a charter member of the Disabled American Veterans, Southeastern Minnesota, Chapter 28, and past commander. He's also a member of the Marine Corps League of Thor Detachment 606. Harry is active with the VFW here for over 50 years and instrumental in being with the Housing, Finance, and Gambling Committees for over 30 years. And also, Harry is a charter member of the Military Order of Purple Hearts, Chapter 7110, I believe it is, Rochester, Minnesota. And also, one of the things that touches my heart is Harry and Gary Klomanecki are the co-founders of Operation Hometown Gratitude. For those that don't know about that, these are the high school kids over at Mayo High School that send out packages to our troops. And just to let you know, they had sent out over 25,000 packages. So when I called Harry to tell him that he's getting this award, Harry had 3 words for me. He said he was shocked, he said he was surprised, and he said he was honored. Harry, we are honored to have you as a Paul Harris Fellow.
One honor I have as president is to present the Paul Harris Fellow Recognition Pin to our members or who are others who have contributed to the Rotary Foundation. Paul Harris Fellow is like named after our founder, Paul Harris, and he started Rotary in Chicago in 1905. Rotary established this recognition in 1957 to encourage and show appreciation for those who have demonstrated ideals that are upheld by Rotary. The Paul Harris recognition acknowledges individuals who have contributed or have made contributions in others' name to the Rotary International Foundation in increments of $1,000. Paul Harris awards consist of a gold pin and stones recognizing multiple awards. Congratulations, you have joined a club of over 485 current and former Rotary Club of Rochester Paul Harris Fellow members. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of our club and Rotary International to present these tokens of our appreciation for supporting Rotary programs throughout the world. We have the pin here. We have a memorial. That's not a plaque. Let's see it. Does anyone have any announcements?
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I ask Lynn to talk about Tee It Up for the Troops? Which is that, with your permission, which is that program in August?
Yes, yeah, that we have. I was going to ask actually Lynn to do that at the last meeting, but this is a perfect time too. So
I'll keep it short.
Thank you. This is going to be Tee It Up for the Troops 20th anniversary here in Rochester. It started 20 years ago here in Rochester. There's 21 years in the making. The first one up in the Twin Cities due to one soldier that was deployed to Iraq during the war. His father started it up in the Twin Cities. Since then, we have grown in the 20 years. We now have 55 events going on nationwide. I sit on the Upper Midwest Board of Directors. And we currently are in 40 different states. Collectively, in the 20 years that we've been doing this together with all of the groups, we've donated back a little over $18 million to veteran organizations throughout the country. This year's event will be out at Willow Creek Golf Course on August 14th. It's on a Thursday. I think our club might be meeting out there at that time. Also, at the event, we will be honoring Gold Star families. We have some World War II veterans, we have Purple Heart recipients, and we also will have some Navy SEALs parachuting in ahead of time. And it's one of the largest, and I mean largest display of American flags with all the larger flags, the ground flags and flags that we put all over the place. We put out about 2,000 American flags.
Just to let you know. So thank you. Talk about the benches.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm looking for volunteers. A couple of months ago, Ally sent me a photo of our Rotary Park benches down at the Silver Lake Skate Park. And it was quite obvious we needed to do something about it. John Woodruff has since gone down, and Steve and I went down just the other day to take a look at the benches. I've purchased paint that we'll use. It matches the old color for the existing benches. I think they're perfectly retrievable, and we have, I think within about 4 or 5 hours, if we had 6 people, we could clean up the benches and paint them all in one morning. So what I'm looking for, I think Steve and I are planning on joining in on this, and John, I think you were going to help, yes? So I need 3 other volunteers. Well, this will probably be like a daytime activity. But if you're interested, if you could please let me know. When we have benches that say Rotary on them and they're filled with rust and lack of paint, it just doesn't look good for our club. So I really want,
Would be the.
got number 4. 5.
Do we have a 6?
Yeah.
We have 6. Cool. Thank you, Kerr. Thank you. Great. So we will take care of those benches and pretty them up, and I'll take some final pictures when they're done. This will be very close to our splash pad, where we're adding additional benches, but I think we can make our existing ones look really nice. Thanks. John?
One kind of go there. See driveway on the right, you'll see where they're building. And on the Broadway side of it, you see the park where the skate stuff. That's where you should park, otherwise it's a long walk from the parking lot.
Yes, you're right.
As you may know, we have a new Rotary year, and with that comes a new decision to make a charitable donation for our speakers honorarium throughout the year. We would like to have some ideas from our members of worthy charities that can be voted on by the board. So we intend to make this decision at our board meeting, the next board meeting, which is I think it's July 21st. So we would like ideas, and you can give them to me. You can just forward them to Joseph, or any other board member is fine for suggestions. We'd be happy to entertain that, and we'll come up with a decision. This last year, just as a reminder, it was to the Sports Mentorship Academy, and it will be some different organization this year. The golf outing, contact Campson. If you're going to go, her email's on this sheet. It's September 4th. No regular meeting that Thursday, so just be aware of that. Your 100th anniversary booklets, you want them in print, you need to order them by Tuesday. And you can get the digital version on the website there, but you want a print version for posterity by Tuesday. So the Chamber of Commerce is having some events, which we as members, we are all members because Rotary donated on our behalf. So you are going to attend these. Stuart's gone to several of them. I intend to go this year to something. I actually was wondering about the Women's Roundtable, if I can go to that. Yeah, well, that doesn't bother me. I have to put in a plug for the Women's Today magazine that is put out. It's not a chamber magazine. I read that all the time because that's where you find out what's really going on.
And Steve, on that, I plan on going to the Eggs and Issues which is like politically, what's happening politically on issues for, the end of July, it's July 30th. So I would definitely give it that one. And the meeting, the espresso morning meeting, those are the best ones to like meet people and interact.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that, because that was a big reason. A lot of people join Rotary for the networking.
Yeah.
And that's where you get it right there, as well as before the meeting.
At one time, we had like little business cards from the club, like if we were having a conversation with someone, we might, if we thought a Rotary might be of interest to them, we were able to provide them. And those don't exist.
Do you know about that, John? If we still have business cards for Rotary?
I know about that,
Oh, okay.
because I had someone here in the room print them.
Mark?
They're all gone.
I went.
So,
So,
So I love your days, you know, they're from all the clubs, it's like, what, all those things, you do that, I know. Okay.
oh,
I don't, I think, I
You
know
are
they're
cool.
clubbers, not for all clubs, you can come out.
One, it sounds,
You need to take with you.
yeah, it sounds like there's interest. One of the things we've discussed was getting basically a general card for all three clubs. In those types of situations, we don't, we're there on behalf of Rotary, so we don't, doesn't matter which one of the meetings. So that was the discussion. So it seems like there's an interest in getting one of those. Something. We'll look into that against the budget for that.
Randy?
Our membership team will put something together.
Okay,
Based on doing that.
okay, thanks, Randy. Cool, done. Okay, White Oaks Park, the new dates are out here. Note, especially the August date, that's on a Thursday instead of on Wednesday, because there's a concert at the park on Wednesday. So we'll clean up right afterwards. Oh, go ahead.
July 17th, that's a Thursday. I want to make sure, is it the 16th or 17th?
It should be,
16, so
So 16.
in this case, if it's missed, it's error.
it's a typo.
So it's
But
July 16th.
It's always the third Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's always the third Wednesday. And then the new Jeremiah dates, we have the next one, September 16th, and I assume there'll be more.
The next one will be in January of, next year.
Okay, we can talk more about that later. Okay, gives me great pleasure to introduce today's program. The title, Breathing and Brain Health, Emerging Insights from Mayo Clinic's. Oh, before we haven't introduced guests yet. I didn't get you. I would like to introduce Larry Kinsey. Larry Kinsey, can you stand up? And you're from Berkeley, California?
Live here, but I was lived in Berkeley for 8 years.
Okay, so you're in Rochester now, though? Okay, well, welcome to Rotary. Thank you very much.
So another gal over there with blonde hair.
Oh, yes. My favorite guest. My wife, Shelley. As she's finishing there, she's here to hear our speaker. And full disclosure about our speaker in his work, he is piloting a study, I guess, on breathing. I'm a participant, and also there's this technique that's available to the public if you are all interested. You don't have to be part of the study. Shelley can talk to you about that if you're interested at all in it. And am I correct that the recluse are part of that as well? Are you involved in that study?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So any one of these people would be a good resource for that. And then back to introducing Dr. Min. Dr. Min is an associate professor of radiology and biomedical engineering at Mayo Clinic. is a neuroscientist with deep commitment to advancing our understanding of how the brain functions, particularly in the context of dementia. A unique area of his research explores how breathing influences global brain circulation of, he's going to talk about that, and function, including enhanced oxygen delivery and clearance of the brain's waste. In recognition of his collaborative excellence, Dr. Min received the Mayo Clinic Team Science Award in 2016. He has authored more than 80 peer-reviewed publications in this field. Please welcome our speaker, Dr. Paul Min.
It's a great pleasure.
Stevie's got to use them. Yeah, this one, yeah.
I've been in Rochester about 14 years now. It's really my hometown. I'm originally from South Korea. My parents were here when I was born in Buffalo, New York. But I lived half of my life in Korea and then half of my life here. And Rochester has now become my hometown. So great to meet all of you, and then great to see friendly places too. So I do research on study of aging. So, and I've done that for a while. And my specialty is neuroimaging. So I scan the brain. You probably have been in an MRI or a system, and that's my specialty. And we usually work on early detection. But I stumbled upon an interesting phenomenon that small things in our life that we often ignore might be more important than we think. So, and that's one of that is breathing. So I recently received 3 major grants to do this study. So up to now, we know about the importance of the heart related to brain and body's health. Yeah, if the heart becomes weak or unstable, or if the blood vessels become stiff, there's a lot of problems created in our as we age. But lung being so efficient, unless there's a asthma or a tuberculosis, nobody really has problem with oxygen. But what we're figuring out that the diaphragm movement is acting as a pump. So if somebody's calmly doing deeper breathing using their diaphragm, because within the chest chamber, there's a heart, it's act upon helping the heart to pump circulation in her brain. And the benefit compared to heart and lung is cardio is hard to train. You can train it, but it takes a long time. But breathing, within a few hours, you can train it. So that's one of the key elements that we're studying. So that's my background. This is one of the example of your brain, and then we developed 7 Tesla MRI to accurately see the brain. We do neurotransmitters, and we also could track inflammation in the brain. So we're understanding that one of the organs that's heavily active in our body is our brain. So although the mass of the brain is only 5% of our body mass, it consumes more than 30% of energy throughout our body. So it's always active. And active means it's also produced a lot of waste product. Yeah. So for our body's waste product, the lymphatic system helps out. So that's the immune system. So if there's any waste product, any foreign material that comes into our body, our immune system targets it and gets rid of it. Macrophage, T cell, B cell, yeah. But the brain is separate with our body, very unique. It's very protected. It's protected. So in our brain, what is the mechanism to get rid of all those waste? And that's what we're studying. I actually brought this up. Rick Cliff, a couple really introduced me to this concept. Steve really introduced me to the concept. And then Ashoka, Dr. Patel introduced me to the concept. It's a beautiful concept. I didn't know about, I heard about Rotary a lot, yeah. But I never joined before, but these four concepts is an essence of what to see a proper way to look at the world, and then to objectively understand it, and then also harmonize. Yeah, it's interacting. And another component that does that is breathing. So when you breathe out, the world is breathing in. And then when you're breathing in, the world is breathing out. So if somebody's able to do a deeper breathing, we think it fits well with this philosophy too. So I just wanted to raise that. When thinking about the brain, the waste product management is heavily done by the cerebrospinal fluid. That's a liquid that the brain is floating on. It's a clear liquid, and usually we thought it was just to prevent concussion. If there's any concussion, this liquid will protect the brain. But now what scientists are understanding more, it has a gentle circulation in our body. And that circulation helps waste product to wash away and go to our blood system. Here's an animal study done by Dr. Mestang in University of Columbia. And this is a mice study. And he's measuring mice in the brain. And every time there's a heartbeat, the green dyes are the fluorescence dyes in the cerebrospinal fluid, the fluid I was talking about. I'm gonna just say CSF, that's CSF fluid. And every time there's a heartbeat, the vessel walls are moving, yeah, when pumping, and that's acting upon to move the molecules in the CSF and gets rid of it. So that was a fascinating study because heart, you know that it's circulating the blood, but CSF, there's no pump to circulate it. So this is one of the pioneering studies that the heartbeat is helping that circulation. And then if there's any problems with this waste product clearance, it is well shown that Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, prion disease, that could be exaggerated. Here's a very interesting study. So when is that CSF flow moving? Yeah. When is that clearance happening? And it's dominantly happening during sleep. Yeah. So when the body's completely relaxed and the heart is gently pumping, that CSF is circulating. So here's a study from Yale University and NIH. And what they did is they had people have 1 day of sleep deprivation. So bug them not to sleep. And then the amyloid beta, which is the toxin that creates Alzheimer's disease in the long term, was increasing within 1 day, and was fascinating study. If you see the second figure, based on how long in average they sleep, it negatively correlates with their waste product. So if you're sleeping 8 to 10 hours, your waste product is low. If you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours, it's likely high. So there was, after this pioneering study, there was a bunch of animal studies done showing that during sleep, this circulation is promoted and the waste product is disappearing. So you probably heard about it nowadays, that how sleep is important. So the last study that I was inspired was Dr. Laura Lewis's study from MIT. What she done was she made a person sleep inside the MRI for 2 hours, which that alone is challenging. She called them in at 1 a.m. and make the MRI machine cozy and asked them to sleep for 2 hours. But what she found out was why is sleep helping the CSF flow? Why? And she done that. So this part, the blue part is when it's sleeping, when the person's sleeping. The red part is when the person's awake. And if you see this bottom graph, that's a CSF flow. So when they're only sleeping, the CSF pulsates. You see that big pulsation at the bottom? And then when they awake, that pulsation disappears. So she proven while there are small neuronal activities, brain activities during sleep, like dreaming or calming down, those activities create blood pulsation, a gentle one, and then that pulsation drives the CSF flow, and that was pioneering. But when I saw this data, I thought of a different idea. I see this pattern. When my wife and kids sleep, they do the slow deep breathing. Yeah. What if that slow and deep breathing is causing this? So I did a similar study too. Thankfully, we didn't have to sleep people in the MRI. University of Penn State did 30 people of sleep MRI already, opened up the database, we downloaded it, and Dr. Laura Lewis was correct. When they were asleep, there was the CSF pulsation going on, okay? She was correct. And then I compared with the respiratory belt. Is respiratory correlating with the CSF flow? And then it showed no. The respiratory is happening more faster. The bottom figure, you see that the graph is more wavering, and the CSF flow is more slow. So it wasn't correlating. But heavily biased as me, yeah, I was looking into the data and figured out this. Every time there's a CSF jump, there's always a deeper breathing. So jump, deeper breathing, always a jump. It was matching 1 and 1. So if we convert this respiratory belt to a diaphragm movement, it was perfectly correlating with the CSF flow. So we are currently publishing that respiratory is playing a major role during sleep, combined with cardio, circulating the CSF flow in the brain. So we are publishing that. Then I thought of, if respiratory is helping the CSF flow during sleep, yeah, can we do it awake? So instead of making people go to sleep, we made somebody go inside the MRI, did the same MIT study in Mayo Clinic, and asked them to do a slow deep breathing, very slow and deep breathing. And we were able to mimic it. So this is while doing awake, but doing the red column is a slow deep breathing, and the blue column is, it comes in the late phase of the Alzheimer, and it has nothing to do with waste product. It's just when the cell dies, it produces this toxin. But the amyloid beta is exactly a waste product problem. It comes early of the disease. And what we're showing is the respiratory function negatively correlates with the amyloid beta alone, meaning the breathing function making a CSF flow, likelihood there's lesser toxin in your brain. And then if that function is disappearing, there's likely more amyloid beta in the brain. Exactly what we are seeing with the sleep study. But this is all awake. Yeah. Up to here, people question, yeah. So we were able to double confirm. So there's another study that we've done is NFL players, yeah. You sometimes see this color in their neck. And I didn't know about it, but it's a color that could reduce the blood flow from your brain a little bit. And it's known to help concussion. Yeah, the company sells it. I didn't know about it, but what I figured out, if it's reducing the blood return from the brain, then I can test my hypothesis. Yeah. So we contacted the company. We made this device MR compatible, yes. And then we put it on the breathing experts, so we put it on them. If the breathing is really by blood return, then putting this color on will reduce it, yes. So we tested out, it was safe, and here's what we got. So the left column is before this color on, and you see the black line is the respiratory function, the breathing in and out, and the purple is the CSF flow. And you see this bulk flow, it's a big wave. Not only there's up and down, every time they breathe in deep, there's this big fluctuation in the CSF going on. When we have the Q color on, blocking the venous return or minimizing it, the green data is that wavery form disappears. So it's more flat compared to the purple line. And then when we take it back off, you see the pink one, that the wavery form comes back in. So the good thing is we're not the only one saying about this. I found multiple papers from University of Rochester showing there's a cardiovascular brain impulse in Alzheimer's disease. So if that reduces, the likelihood of chance of Alzheimer's disease is going up. Another person published saying that sleep promotes brain-wide vasomotor and respiratory pulsation in the brain. So this was published by other big groups too. We're doing a breathing study in Mayo. So we have 4 studies going on. One healthy control. We have a study for cancer patients. We have a study for dementia. We have a study for multiple sclerosis. And we recently got another grant to help employees and medical field employees to relieve stress and relieve waste product in their brain. So we're going to start that in Eau Claire. So this is our conclusion. As we talked about previously, that the heart is pumping the blood inside, and the lung is helping that return come back. And we're finding an interesting circulation. So this is our team. Mahathi, David, Maureen, Sokpin are people who's working on the breathing study and also dementia. And then thank you for the talk. Yes.
Could I ask you?
Yeah.
When somebody asks a question, could I ask you to repeat it so the people online can hear as well?
Yes.
So with that, I've got a question.
Yes.
There are a number of people of my age or greater that suffer from sleep apnea, and younger people as well. And by use of the CPAP machine, I'm assuming that then promotes this deep breathing that you're referring to, and not only prevents sleep apnea, but also increases the circulation of the CFF. Is that an appropriate statement?
Yes. Dave?
Yes.
Yes. Very good question. We have another project confirming that. We haven't started the study yet, but Dave's question was whether sleep apnea, having a CPAP on to fix that could promote and do the same thing where we're seeing here. Yes. And I think so. And we are testing that out. We don't have the answer yet, but I think CPAP is doing 2 things. It's giving oxygenation to your body and your brain, but also it might help the brain circulation too. So that's a fascinating. We thought about the same thing, and we want to test it out too. So great question. We don't have the answer yet.
Research volunteer.
Yes. Great question. Yes.
I have a question. There's a lot of technical material in there, but I think what you're saying, there's a direct relationship between lack of sleep and dementia. Is that true?
That is well documented. Yeah, so if there is lack of sleep, then the waste product management is reduced. So it's very high correlation that there is a higher chance of,
And so Seth, what's the,
dementia.
what's the optimal timeline for sleeping? Is it 5 hours, 10, 8? What should it be?
I'm not a sleep expert, but I'm usually hearing 6 to 8 hours. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. Yes, yes, yeah, yes.
It's kind of an interesting topic. I've watched a lot of videos on different breathing techniques.
Oh, yes, yes.
One of the techniques that goes through my head a lot, because I've done it and it was really like, wow, holy crap, like it changed my whole perspective. It's called Wim Hof. Yeah, I don't know if you're a big fan of it or not. I know there's a lot of
Yes.
but I've tried it and done other things like that, different meditations, breathing exercises. And you talk about becoming a breathing expert.
Yes.
What gets you to become a breathing expert? Because I'm assuming that we're trying to prevent dementia. So like someone like me, what would be a good breathing exercise that you would recommend maybe bringing into my life or all our lives to kind of help become better breathers?
Yes. So your question is whether you saw many breathing techniques out there, and when we said breathing experts, what does that mean, and how can we apply it to ourselves? Yes. So I heard about Wim Hof. Yeah. So I didn't show in this data, but we have a publication being reviewed right now. One thing we found out in the breathing, so we don't know what's different with this breathing people. Yes. So the one thing we're finding out is when they're doing regular breathing, when we say just breathe regularly and just, that's when the difference happening in the CSF flow. Meaning, trained breathing person and just who never been trained, when we ask them to do deep breathing, the same CSF circulation will happen. So you don't need breathing training to do CSF circulation. Just yawning, taking a deep breath, sighing, hiccup, just taking a deep breath in your life, taking a moment in your life and taking a deep breath. That everyone, where's the data showing, everyone will promote CSF at that moment, yes. But the unique thing of the breathing expert is when we say just do regular breathing, who's never been trained, their CSF doesn't move. But these people who've been trained, the CSF moves during their regular breathing. And I think that's because of the diaphragm training. So in their regular state, they're doing deeper breathing than most people. So I think there is where the clinical relevance would lie on. So Wim Hof, other methods are out there, but if you're doing it 30 minutes a day or 1 hour a day, I don't think that's enough to change a disease pattern, That's too short. But if somebody's doing a deep breathing all the time in their regular state, not unconsciously, I think that might have a meaningful impact for dementia. So there's a key element that is with the training that their regular breathing is changing. Yes. Yes.
So does napping count?
Yes. And don't you feel it? Like after a nap, you feel it. Your body feels it. That might be more than placebo. It might be circulation promoted in your body. Yes, yes. Because the Laura Lewis, it was 2 hours. So it could be considered a nap too. Yes, yes. And then there's multiple stages of sleep, and it's happening in the early stage. The CSF circulation happens right away. Somebody falls asleep. So I think napping will count. Yes.
We have time for maybe one more question.
Is there elevated beta amyloid concentration in the CSF of people with Alzheimer's disease compared to controls?
Yes.
And if that is the case, then we're talking about circulation and eliminate and filtering and elimination of the beta amyloid, so that we lower the concentration and there will be less plaque formation. Is that correct?
Yes, so there is amyloid beta in the brain, which is more cross-related amyloid beta, and there's amyloid in the CSF flow too. And if their CSF flow amyloid beta is higher, there is a correlation that their brain amyloid beta is higher too. And there is a recent drug that is to get rid of amyloid beta, and it reduces both. If you have an antibody to get rid of blood amyloid beta, it reduces the CSF down and the brain down too. So there is an option nowadays to delay the Alzheimer using that drug. They target the blood and CSF amyloid beta.
So in the negative situation,
Yeah.
the higher concentration of beta amyloid available, then the brain, there's plaque formation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Whereas if there's a lower concentration of CSF, there's either slower plaque formation or more. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Those studies are well documented.
And based on the study, we should all buy shirts with larger neck size.
Or what you can do right now is take a break in your shoulder, relax in your shoulder, and rather than be occupied of your surrounding and just be there, take a moment to yourself and take a deep breath. That's what we do. In that moment, there will be more circulation in your brain. Yes.
Where can we find these reports or this research documentation?
Oh, so I'll send you some information about the study or the practice. Yes. Yeah.
I want to thank you, Dr. Min, for your presentation today, and honorarium for the speaker will be made, but we haven't decided the nonprofit yet. So thank you again so much. Again, we're a little after, but one presidential prerogative is that I really want to encourage people to consider participating maybe in one of the studies that Dr. Min mentioned, to the general public, or if not the study, then also they have the breathing technique that's available for training to the public. You don't have to participate in the study.
Yes, we're making a nonprofit organization to really make this available. Yes.
So I want to thank John for being Sergeant at Arms. I want to thank whoever was the greeter. Vicky, thank you. Kerr for the four-way test. And I want to look forward to a very good new year here in the Rotary year. So thanks so much for coming today. And with that, and Joseph too for tech. That's probably the most important part. So, thank you so much for all you do, Joseph. With that, we're adjourned.